All right, welcome to another episode of Talk Like a Viking. Joe Chevalier here, and with me today on this special episode, I have Gemma Hollis, and I have none other than Callum from Cupcakes with Cal, starting with our new kits that we've been using this year. So, with that, Gemma, I'll let you kind of introduce yourself.
Awesome. Hey, so most of you know me. Gemma, I've been on the team since it started. So it's our 10-year anniversary this year, which is awesome. And also more recently been kind of managing the kit since I left the Woodlands, working remotely. So, and have actually worked for Cupcake as well after we did our kit last year. So just really close to my heart. Want to make sure we get good quality and good kit for our team, and also just kind of part of the new brand of kit apparel company coming through. So that's why I thought it was really good to get Cal on board, talk through some of the background, how Cupcake Apparel has been born.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Joe and Gemma. I don't know, where do you guys want to start with? Where do we?
How did you come about? Obviously, for those that maybe don't know your background, why don't you talk through kind of a little bit about who you are, what your background is in triathlon, and how you came to go down the apparel route?
Yeah, so I raced professionally. I guess from like 2006 to 2019, and I guess during those travels is when I actually ran into Gemma. I raced Ironman Texas twice, and I stayed with Gemma and Matt in the woodlands there, and thoroughly enjoyed myself. The race was thoroughly challenging, as you know. It's one of the tougher races, I guess, worldwide.
Did you do Hardy Toll Road Ironman Texas, or did you do? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
The-
so
And Cal, you did the year where the course got changed last minute. That was the first year with all the 92 turns or whatever.
oh yeah.
yeah, I
And you
mean,
turned up, and I was like, "Oh, had you heard?" I was really, because everyone was getting really stressed that the course was changed, and you're like, "I got no idea what the course is. I'm just going to go out and ride it." And it was like, "Okay."
I,
You were
I, I
so
think
unstressed
that
about it.
I think, and that's something we come across now as well. When you race so frequently, there's always another race. So as a pro, you pay a one-off $1,000 membership fee at the time for the whole year. So we would enter Ironman Texas, and then you'd almost always have a backup a few weeks later in case you got a mechanical. So I know a lot of pros cop flack for like pulling out of races, but if you're out of the money or you're out of the points for Kona, you want to have a backup strategy. So I think rinsing, repeating racing, you start to chill out after a while. I think as a young buck, like 20 to 25, you're pretty high strung, and you might fly to a race and I've broken Di2 cables, or you have issues. But I think you just adapt. You learn to adapt.
Yeah,
Mm.
you were so chilled. It was like, whatever.
I think that was the introduction of Patrick Lang when he came out and just demolished everyone, and he ran like maybe a low 240s, and then
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he won Kona that year, but he was right there with like Jan,
Yeah, he
and
did.
like
I
he
think
was a
yeah.
force.
yeah.
So
Fun
yeah,
times. That was a long time ago.
so we finished our racing in 2018-19. My partner Alise, she also raced pro, so we wrapped up the racing. 2018, we created the triathlon team, the CUPCKE Cartel, which is about 750 people on now. Surprisingly, about 70% are in North America, so we still have a massive presence there because we spent about 8 years living out of Boulder, Colorado. So we travel around to like every 70.3, or prior to that, it was Olympic distance racing with the ITU series, what it was called back then. And then I guess previous to that, being a pro as well, you're trying to make a living, and a little bit like Lionel Sanders and Sam Lung, you've got your YouTube channels. I created a series called Cupcakes with Cal, where it was a bit like Zach Galifianakis, where I sat down with other pros, because in Boulder, Colorado, there's so many pros. So we had access to everyone. And one of the husbands of the female pros, he was a content creator. He took photos for a lot of the magazines, and he would film them. I would just find the pros and then we'd chat to them. But I think it's sort of derived from Breakfast with Bob from Kona, where
Mm-hmm.
we were just getting sick of the blow by blow. How do you feel? It was very textbook, the same answers. And we're like, all these pros are actually real people and they have fun personality, and we wanted to showcase that. And I think when people put their media hats on and their polos, they get very serious. And I was like, let's try and have some fun with it. And we pushed the boundaries a bit. And that's where the whole cupcake side of it came. It wasn't actually because I was a baker.
So you don't like cupcakes?
Yeah, I mean, I love food, and now I'm starting to realize that not doing 25 hours of training a week, I need to just dial that back a little bit. But we created our team in 2018, and each year it seemed to grow and grow. And I think in year 2 of having the team is when we got into apparel. So even though we're new for apparel for a lot of people, we've actually been doing it for 5 years. And I guess the cool thing with that is we've got a massive range of body sizes and body shapes and abilities as well. We've got people trying to get to Kona in these, and then we've got people just trying to get off the couch and like lose 30 pounds. So we take a lot of that feedback on board as well. And I think, like I said before, there's no decisions that we make that are quite rash. We survey our team each year as well and say, hey, what do you want to change? What do you like? What do you not like? And that's how we sort of arrive at the end product a lot of the time. And so that's, I guess, sort of brings us up to the present date as well, where now we're looking after designing kits for cool clubs like Valhalla and Valkyrie Racing. We're actually currently making a kit for the Las Vegas Tri Club now, which you can imagine is everything Las Vegas, where it's quite wild and fire and skulls and I think everything but a couple of fluffy dice. And it's starting to take off, which we're pretty excited about.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's, there's a lot of people around, and it's, a lot of other companies. So what are you trying to be in your kind of differentiator? What makes CUPCKKE different?
Yeah, so I think we're at a point a bit like the top end bikes, where if you're looking at Cervelo, Trek, Specialized, Canyon, everyone's sort of much of a muchness. There's not too many outliers where if you put a pro on there, like it's just going to be a terrible product or a terrible result. So I think the standard of craftsmanship and manufacturing is a really, really high level across the board. So what makes us different is, I mean, we've got a couple of amazing designers, and we can sort of envisage or put into production anything that you can think of. We like to think, well, we know we're people pleasers. We want to try and keep everyone happy, but we've learned as well, there's always going to be a couple of outliers, and that's just the way it is. And we've learned that with our team as well. So we'll survey people all the time, and we'll try to figure, hey, what is it that you want? Because we can change things. So we like to think that we're quite responsive to that. We do try to do our absolute best with customer service as well. So I think a lot of the time there's people on clubs like yourselves where maybe it's a volunteer role, and it can be quite overwhelming as well, trying to figure out how to get logos and trying to figure out, new sponsors, or there might be a change of ownership. And we just try to be patient and just work with people as well and do as much of the heavy lifting as we can. We try to, try to make it as easy as possible. More recently, we've just gone down the route of the performance sort of offering and range, where we've got like a great product that we want to make even better as well. So we've just started sponsoring a few pro athletes as well, and using them to help us develop a top end offering that we've always known, being pros as well, that we've had a good product. Is that people want data now. You watch Lionel Sanders interviews on YouTube, you watch Sam Long, they're in the wind tunnel and they've got data, and we need to sort of go down that route as well. So last week we're on the velodrome testing with our pro athletes. We're playing around with different fabrics, different cuts, different orientations of the way the lycra like sort of sits. We're playing around with like collars, leg bands, pockets, pocketless, ice pockets, no ice pockets. And we want to be considered in the same conversation as the brands that you perceive to be like a performance brand. So yeah, we're trying to really sort of throw our hat in the ring with that as well. And I think that will sort of put us in good stead as well. We've just signed another pro athlete who's a first year pro. She won Ironman Australia, Ironman Malaysia, and she's qualified for Kona. So it's going to be a proud dad moment next year watching her racing in Kona. She races well in the heat too. So we'll be out there and just trying to do the absolute best we can to ensure that she gets a good result. So I hope that sort of answers the question. I don't think any one brand is doing anything crazy. It's just, I think, a bit like training and triathlon as a pro. You try to do the fundamentals right. You eat, sleep well, you do your training, you just do those fundamentals, and we're trying to do the same in apparel manufacturing.
Yeah. I think to kind of build on that, I think a lot of, because you were talking about Canyon Track and all that, a lot of those guys have been trying to differentiate themselves by just saying, like, here's our aero testing. And I think the fact that you've stepped up now and saying, here's our testing, or you're showing that you're doing the testing, just kind of shows like, hey, here's a differentiating factor that we have within our company and our brand, which I think really speaks volumes.
And not every brand goes to the wind tunnel or the velodrome as well. We looked at I think it was the A1 wind tunnel in North Carolina there, and then we realized there's a really good testing expert here in Brisbane, Australia. There's another wind tunnel at one of the universities here. It's really difficult to get into the wind tunnels, but it's a necessary tool that we need to show when people are trying to find marginal gains. We want to make sure that we're in that same conversation. And we tested our suit last week against a couple of the well-known suits and a former provider of you guys as well for kit. And we were just stoked with the results as well. So we tested faster. We brought 6 suits to the testing, and we ran laps at race pace under a protocol that they use. And we tested faster than both these other brands as well. We'll be back in the velodrome in January as well, testing. We've got carb sleeves coming, as well as just playing around again with new fabrics. The thing with testing and going down the aero route as well, you can spend 6 months testing and sort of be chasing your tail somewhat. So it's just trying to figure out, can we get it to a certain level and be in the same conversation as a lot of the other top brands. And what we did find here especially is there's other brands that aren't going that route, and we want to make sure that we're in that conversation. I mean, we're both ex-pros, and we know what good equipment feels like, and we know that things need to be at a certain standard if you want to be taken seriously.
Yeah. No, and I think that was, when we had the conversation, and Steve was very much involved last year, and one of the reasons for coming over was kind of the fact that you were new in the market, and there were some issues that we wanted to kind of move away from, and just being part of this kind of development, I think and to be part of that, you've got your team, but as well kind of as being the first here to kind of go down that custom route outside of your kind of immediate family has been really fun. And yeah, we've had some teething issues, and like you say, there's we can't always please everybody all the time, but we're just trying to create, and pricing comes into that as well. And it's you understand and kind of know where fabric is coming from, the factories, what the margins are, what the markups are. And I think we really appreciate you being able to kind of pass that on to your end user as well, because there can't be much variation between that, yet we see the end product price variation is huge.
Yeah, and look, there are some brands that have got a lot of mouths to feed, and they have a lot of pros, and there's a lot of marketing spend, and we're fortunate we're in a position where we can offer our stuff at a slightly different price point because it's Alise and I. I mean, we have a team around us that help us with everything, but if you think like Specialized, when they had the Tri program and how many athletes are on the payroll there as well, like they've built a machine and they need money to keep constantly coming in. So there are brands now that are bringing out $1,000 tri suits And we can do that if it makes you feel like you've got peace of mind. But I think as well, our bread and butter with our team, we have a variety of people who have different incomes and different backgrounds and different performance abilities. So we try to sort of make sure we're somewhere in the middle that satisfies the majority of people. And even on our team, like we know every single year there'll be some outliers that aren't happy, and that's fine as well. And you just like we'd literally have to make like 20 different suits or 20 different pairs of swimwear or 20 different socks. We make a sock that has a silicone gripper on the bottom so you don't slip on tiles. If we take it off, we get pushback. If we put it on, we get pushback. So it's a lose-lose scenario unless you literally but we try not to focus on that too much because the majority of people are happy. And I find that's all you can focus on. It's a bit like customer service, and that generally if you go to United Airlines and you look at the reviews, you're probably not going to see too many of the people writing, I had a great flight, but you will hear if your luggage was lost
and your bike box was broken.
That's right, yeah. So but yeah, Alise and I, we keep our ear to the ground, and we're sensitive, and we want to make sure what we've got is an excellent product. We study the competition in the market very closely, and almost to a sadistic level where I know so much about a few certain brands. And without bursting the smoke screens and mirrors, you're looking at a lot of marketing.
I was going to say, it sounds like you've understood the demographic that you want to sell your product to. And not only that, you know your competition, which I think is, when you go to business school, that's like half of what they teach you. So you're already going down the right path as far as knowing what you want to do for building your brand, which is, at least from my semi-business brain, I'm like, oh, that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
He's just done his MBA.
Yeah. It's,
well done.
I don't know if the camera shows it, but it's sitting up there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think as well, coming from a performance background now, we had dinner last night with Pete Jacobs, who won the 2012 Ironman World Champs. He now connects internet fiber cables to houses, and we're sort of joking how we've taken our performance background from triathlon now into work and business, and essentially it's no different from an accountant or someone else who is a successful business person. You've still got the same fundamentals where maybe you're lying awake at night just trying to think, how can I do this more efficiently, or you're always trying to improve. I remember when I used to race, I'd always be looking at nutrition and trying to figure out what was a good protein powder, or what was a good set of wheels, what was the rolling resistance, where was a good course where it would suit me if I was a wetsuit dominant swimmer or not. How could I better adapt to heat conditions? Would I go to the sauna? Would I just layer up? And I think now we've shifted that into apparel as well. And our most recent sneaky squirrel moments has been purchasing competitors' apparel just to analyze it and look at every nook and cranny and seam and leg band. And I think the more we understand about what people are doing, the better we can understand of where we want to head.
Cool. So we're demanding, as your first team outside of your team, and so we're always, when we're working with people, and we love to get the new and shiny. So looking at, we're opening our kit store this week now. We've obviously had the one-piece tri-suit. We did the sleeved and the unsleeved, and the cycle stuff. And what can we see that's going to have changed with those products that we had last year that are now coming back in again? What's happened to those this year?
Yeah, so we made a few small changes to our standard suit, and that was based on the feedback from, I guess, everyone. So we not only did we make kit for your club, we made kit for our 700 members and a bunch of other clubs as well. And one common thing was the armband. We have changed the fabric there to make this silky, buttery smooth fabric, where we noticed a few people were having, I guess, feedback with it falling sort of on the largest part of the diameter of the bicep. So we've extended it slightly and we've made it a softer fabric as well. So I think if you're a former swimmer, or if you've got, if you throw some weight around in the gym, you're not going to find, like not me, but you're going to find it's going to be a lot softer. And then do you want to talk about
Yes.
the new suit? So I guess segueing from our suit testing, we're in a position now to offer. You guys will be the first ones to try the new suit. Like, we haven't even offered it to our team because we are pleasantly surprised at how well it tested. And I thought, I was wrapped with how it tested. So I think the new Nexus Pro is our performance level suit. So if you're really looking to like hit those marginal gains, if you want to get to Kona, if you want to get to Nice, or if you want to get to 70.3 Worlds next year, like especially, save a few watts as well. We're going to have the Nexus Pro available for you guys. So I think that's pretty exciting too. So it's got a completely different fabric as well. It's got a striped lycra on the arms. The arms is the one area that is really sort of aero conscious point, because it's where all the wind hits as well. So you'll notice on a lot of brands as well, focus on the arms and the sleeves and the shoulders here. So it's one area we focus on as well, and we've got a nice striped fabric. It's a longer sleeve as well, because fabric on skin, fabric is faster than skin as well. So obviously, the more sort of the more sort of skin you can cover, the better in that regard. What else? So in terms of cooling, these have built-in ice pockets on the front of the chest as well. So you can either fill them with ice or you can tuck in your precision hydration gels and your Mortein gels, whatever it may be as well, because we know you're not allowed to litter on the course. So so we've got cooling, we've got aero properties as well. The leg bands change, so we've got a laser cut leg band. So on your current suit, there's a leg band that goes around, whereas this one, we looked at all the seams, and if we can reduce the seams, it's more aero as well. And every one of those little gains, it all adds up. So this suit will be approximately 8 to 10 watts faster than the current suit, which it's the equivalent of around 3.5 minutes in a full Ironman if you're averaging around 36k an hour, which is around 22 miles an hour. So there's definitely time to be made there as well. What else have we done? We've reduced the collar size as well. We left the pockets on the back because when we tested it in the velodrome, having pockets on the back tripped the air better, and that might be a foreign concept. You might just think, hey, it's nice to have a nice smooth back, but having the pockets on is actually tested faster for us. So we've left them on. So you've still got your two nice big pockets. When you're rolled over an aero, they're nice and smooth as well. We changed the fabric on the back as well. So we tested different fabrics. It's a striped fabric. It's a different fabric to the sleeve. And we found the horizontal, what would you call it, alignment. We tested vertical stripes and horizontal stripes, and we found the horizontal for us tested faster again. Because what we're trying to do is the wind that comes off the back of the body, we want it to be nice and smooth, like really nice and smooth. It gets disturbed once it hits your shoulders, and we want it to wrap around the back of your body as well. So that was something we were really focusing on. We used a tester in Brisbane, Australia, Jordan Kirby, who he actually coaches Ash Gentle. He's a former world champion in individual pursuit. He works with Cycling Australia, and his bread and butter is optimizing bike positions and performance fabrics as well. So we used his protocols. We ran hot laps at race pace with our pro, Tim Van Berkel. And so for like 2 hours, he was running like 6 laps at a time at all these different scenarios. We tested every suit 6 times, including our competitors. So we will continue to keep testing that as well. And we're just pleasantly surprised at how well things tested, like straight off the bat. So we did make changes from our current suit that you guys have, and I think you'll be very happy with the outcome of these.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we have a similar service here with one of our other sponsors. So I think we'll, or at least I know I'll try to put your money where your mouth is and see if that's true. So, especially with a new fall Ironman that I'm planning next year. So
that's
definitely.
another hot off the press.
Yeah.
Those coming
What
back
race is that, Joe?
Ironman Texas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
you
cool.
know that
That's cool.
the photo that you used for your brochure kit here, that was right before I smashed my bike on Hardy Toll Road for Ironman Texas. So I need to get some redemption for that.
You crashed in the race?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
So there was a massive draft pack that came up beside me on my left-hand side, and I glanced over at him, kind of gave him a what the hell, and when I looked forward, there was a cone right there, and I tried to swerve it, but my back tire clipped it, and I went right over the front of my bike and basically landed on my right side, and the whole front fork and front wheel got smashed to smithereens.
I was riding behind Tim O'Donnell at Boise 70.3 in Idaho. He did exactly the same thing. Mind you, it was like 30 degrees. It was like freezing, and all around there, like they almost cancelled it. But he just rode. We're on like a perfectly straight piece of road, and he just rode straight into a cone, and just a Bugs Bunny kind of cartoon animation. So the thing that hurts the most is your pride, right?
I hit the ground, and the force of the fall actually popped me back up on my feet. And I remember looking at the fence on the side of the road going, I'm good. I can keep riding. I turned around and looked at my bike, and I'm like, oop, nope, I'm done.
Oh, no.
But the kit survived.
Yeah, that blue kit that you saw in that picture, yeah, it's still good.
Awesome. So did you get
Awesome.
Yeah,
so we'll get the kit store open this week.
Yes. Yep. I'll be working on that today. It's start of day here on Monday, so I'll shoot that through to you, Gemma, and you can share.
And we're also this year, just for those that are listening, and kind of adding in a 2-piece tri-suit. So again, new development. Thanks for that, Cal.
Yes.
That can help with some sort of options and issues that people have had. So that's really good.
Yeah, and that's something that, again, we responded to based on feedback for our team. We stopped doing the 2-piece a few years ago because everyone was going to the 1-piece. But if you're going to use a porta potty and you don't feel comfortable taking off, a complete suit, then a 2-piece makes it a lot easier as well.
Yeah, and different body shapes, and the sizing thing comes into play as well. Working with one of the other teams that I'm working with, they've gone down the 2-piece route because they've got a couple of members who just cannot get a 1-piece to work. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think from my perspective, wanted to keep it pretty brief, but great to get that background information, and just excited to have another year with you. Thanks for all you do. I know we did have just a few customer service issues, and you guys handle them like a champ. So appreciate that.
Yeah, we try to do our best, and we're small. I don't really consider us starting out because we've been around for a while. And I guess the cool thing is we've got a sample size of 750 people, which is bigger than most teams around. So we literally have every body shape and every performance dynamic as well. So I guess there's not spur of the moment decisions made. Everything's kind of calculated for a reason. And the same with the new suit as well. There's a reason we've done this. One other thing I forgot to add was the sleeve on the new suit as well. We've put a silicone gripper on the bottom of it so that it does hold in place, because a lot of the time you get out of the water, you'll notice sometimes they'll roll up. Even with plenty of the pros, they'll just be so focused. But if we've got flat fabric, it's faster than something that's all crumpled up.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because in that picture, you can see it kind of rolled up on me there. So
yeah, you're hugging all the buff there with your bicep.
That's the football in you.
You've shared the new design with the team, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the Nexus suit will be ever so slightly different, but obviously we'll detail all of that on the team store as well. But it's for a 10-year anniversary kit. It's super smart.
Yeah, it's cool. We're pleased. Thank you.
So I guess, one final question for you, and this is a little bit of a throwback to one of your questions you asked, I think, in your self-interview video back in the day. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because you're already, I guess, halfway through your 10-year plan. So, where do you see CUPCKE being in 5 years?
Um, I would let me see. I would like to have a bunch more pros. I would love to just see our suits on the world stage, and we've already got that for next year. So I mean, in year 2 of being like a public brand, I think that's quite amazing. So I think it would just be to continually build on that. We're up against some massive brands who have, huge investors or a consortium of people who are either, again, Jan Frodeno with their brand, and there's other former pro athletes as well. So we want to be around for the long haul, and we just want to, again, just like training, just do the fundamentals right, good customer service, a great product, and just be in touch with the people who are wearing our product as well, and just try to, if we can make a product that's comfortable and it looks good, then I think a bit like Rome, like, is it Rome? Like, you build it and they'll come. So that's how we look at it.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you need a positive review, just let me know, because I know every time I go to throw a kid in for a workout and I'm looking at it, it's not the CUPCKE one. I'm like, crap, I gotta wear this one. I gotta wear this old thing. So.
We are actually trying to change our Google address because we've moved into an office now in a retail space, and trying to work with Google to update it is impossible. So like a Google review would be sensational. But other than that, we love feedback, good and bad as well. Like, we don't like to sugarcoat things as well. Like, if you've got something you're not happy about, there's probably a reason for that. But if you're happy with something, like, share it our way as well, because we just sit here and we love to take it in as well. Because I guess, we're all our own biggest critic as well. And I think you always hope that the best is yet to come with everything in terms of performance. And that would be the same as this. Like, our suit that we first brought out 5 years ago to our team has changed vastly to now. And I think as well, even looking at bikes and wheels and helmets and sunglasses, like, I remember when I was racing, I thought we had the coolest stuff with like 10-speed Di2. And now I just heard last night, like, Jan Frodeno's got the latest 13-speed SRAM. And so everything's just constantly evolving, and it's cool. You've just got to keep up or you'll be left behind.
So I'm glad to hear that when I just bought a brand new 12-speed SRAM that's already outdated.
Yeah.
Don't tell the wife. It's all new and shiny. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cal. Thanks, Joe.
Any other questions? The team can always do whatever. Send you a message, Gemma. I know you're very receptive, and Gemma goes above and beyond with a lot of things as well. So thanks to Gemma as well for looking after your team so well.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Thank you, Cal, for providing an awesome kit for our team.
Yeah, you're welcome. And
Alise, can't forget her. It was a two-person effort.
Yep.
Saw her walking in the background, so thanks to her.
I can see 4-legged animals in the background.
Yeah, so bring our dogs to work day, because Monday, Tuesday's a longer day for us with daycare. So the only problem is they're trying to get their head around the concept that other people are outside walking around and we don't have to woof at all of them.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So if you ever get a stray dog here, it's from one of these guys, but we try to separate them. We have a warehouse out the back with all our stock as well. And I wish they were a bit more helpful and they could help pack when team orders come in, but they're redundant. They do like belly rubs, and they're great for just companionship around the office.
Oh.
There they are.
Heard it.
On cue. On that note.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me too.
Yeah. Thanks for being on and talking with us today and talking about your products, and I really appreciate it. And I guess with that, we're wrapping it up, right, Jim?
Over and out.
All right.
See you guys.
See ya.